Well, hey there, and welcome to Razzball Radio on the Fantasy Sports Network. It's so good to have ya. Nick Capozzi, and it's Wednesday, so we're joined by the guy who usually shows up on Wednesday, depending on whether or not his parole hearing goes well. Robert Langevin, a.k.a. Smokey, a.k.a. Robbie Blue Eyes, a.k.a. Sensitive Rob. How come we got so many nicknames in the Razzball family, bruh?
Yeah, I don't know. You just keep assigning them, and I somehow I like criticize myself. I'm like, well, that would make sense, and that would make sense too. So I'm trying to believe that they're all true.
It's because you're Sensitive Rob, so that's why everything kind of makes sense.
Totally. I need a hug.
I'm giving you a virtual hug. All right, so listen, there's some fancy stuff to get to. We're also going to take a quick look here at the Thursday turkey games. You got any plans for Thanksgiving in Hoboken? What do you guys do? Do you like, take out baseball bats and, try and hunt down some rats to cook and stuff for a holiday feast?
It's still America, man. We still do everything else that you displaced Canadians do.
Hey, man,
even though your Thanksgiving was in October.
It's about the harvest. Hey, I am ready for my first American Thanksgiving. I used to always have to call in sick or take the day off for Turkey Thursday in the U.S., so I am jacked up. Plus, I'm in Phoenix. I'm on mountain time, so I get football all day. Turkey. Stuffing's my favorite part. What about you?
I'm a dessert and turkey guy.
Yeah, I could see that. Do you like? I don't get the cranberry sauce though. That's never made sense to me.
Love it. Do you love a whole berry or you like it the regular?
I don't eat it. I refuse.
Really?
I don't. It makes no sense to me. Why would you? And I love cranberries. I'll drink a glass of cranberry juice, but I don't get taking something beautiful like a quality protein turkey breast, and slathering it in cranberry. Give me some gravy and some stuffing, man.
Well, I think it's the whole thing, like mint jelly on what do they put that on? They put it on pork.
Come on, that's a sin too.
Yeah, it's
and steak sauce. Condiments. What's up with that steak sauce?
Yeah.
Give me.
Where's the condiment police?
Condiment police. Hey, do you guys in the U.S. when you have like prime rib, do you guys use horseradish, or is that a Canadian?
I cook it with it sometimes. Yeah.
All right, because there's nothing like some fresh ground horseradish on a nice piece of prime rib. Forget it. I'm changing up the holiday menu this Thursday. I'm a radical. Thanksgiving radical. All right.
Going over.
Hey, just before we get to the fantasy goodness here, did you see T-Hole on Tuesday's show? Did you see he got attacked by an otter?
No, I only watched my show. That's it.
Oh, it's your show now. Okay. But yeah, T-Hole, you got to see it. His face is all messed up. There was an otter that's been attacking his koi pond, and he went to bat with it.
Oh, for real? I'll have to check it out.
He's messed up. He's stitches and bruising and bloodshot eyes. Apparently, you don't mess with an otter. All right. Fantasy sports news. So, did you hear the Cardinals signed Michael Bush?
Yeah, I heard that. It's probably not going to be very good for fantasy purposes because he didn't look good when he was with Chicago, and he's a year older now. Right. So he's probably a year older from the plodding runner that we saw that was ineffective at goal lines that Chicago brought him in for, and he basically couldn't do the job.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The only thing I'm thinking, the only logic here is that they want to take the ball out of Stanton's hands and just pound the run. And if they do that, I mean, Ellington, as amazing as he is, he's not a guy that could take that kind of pounding. When he might be able to handle 20 touches a game, but 8 of those better be catches out of the backfield. So I could see a situation where, look, he's probably at best would rise to number 2 on the depth chart. But if they do go to a ground and pound with that defense, he could have some fantasy value, especially maybe vulture some touchdowns. You with me on that, or am I out to lunch here?
Well, they still have to play Seattle once and San Francisco again. So, I mean, I could see it making sense from a great playing against great defensive opponents to try to wear them down and do it that way. I just don't see him notching any fantasy value besides maybe like a vulture touchdown guy. That's about it.
All right. I tend to mention when I go on every Tuesday the Fantasy Funhouse Roto Experts in the morning, SiriusXM Fantasy with Nando DeFino. I promise you I'm not name dropping because I don't know enough names to drop, although Peter King was on our year 1 podcast. But with that said, he and I had a conversation on Tuesday about Justin Forsett. And here's my thinking. This guy's kind of tough to read because right now he's the 7th ranked running back going into this season. And I don't know how to rank him next year. I don't know that he's a top 10 running back, and I don't know if I can rank him appropriately, but I don't know where to put him. What's your take on Forsett?
I read a great article on him today. How the new running back coach that they brought in was the running back coach at Wisconsin, who coached Monty Ball and Ron Dane and all those prolific runners in Wisconsin.
That's worked well in the pros.
Well, but look what they did in college, and his system is actually turning over well into the NFL. Forsett, from a ranking perspective for next year, he's probably going to be in that, wow, look at his stats, why is he still here in the second round kind of guy.
I could see that. I think, though, I don't think Bernard Pierce is long for the Ravens, but I think there's a chance that Taliaferro really emerges and part of that timeshare next year. So I don't know, man. He's a guy that probably won't be on any of my teams because I don't know how to rank him. And when we do rankings for next season, I really don't know where to put the guy. Another bit of interesting news here. Fred Jackson is going to be active this weekend for the Buffalo Bills. Not that you want Booby, the running back, but or obviously Bryce Brown. I mean, do you think F-Jax is going to be the F-Jax of old here? Or, I mean, look, Dixon's been okay. He hasn't been horrible because the guys are trying to make the playoffs this week, so it's going to be a judgment call. Are you starting F-Jax if you need to make the playoffs?
I'm probably not, only because
you have a better team than that?
Yeah, exactly. If you're relying on Fred Jackson for your playoff hopes, then I'd like to be playing you. But if he manages somewhere between 12 to 15 touches in the game, I could see him maybe as a deeper league flex play, maybe a leagues that have multiple flexes for the playoffs, but nothing other than that. I don't see him as an RB, even anything close to an RB2.
All right. I'm kind of with you there. How are you doing in your kind of main leagues this year?
I'm middle of the pack. I'm not blowing anybody out, and I'm not.
Me too. I mean, I've hit on a lot of my predictions this year, but I've been dealing with the guys I actually drafted. Deal with injuries and knuckleheadness. I didn't. Well,
it's hard to draft when you're on the road in a tour bus and you're doing drafts from bars every night.
How many did we miss when we were on tour?
Maybe two, maybe. All right. We missed like 2 cities.
Speaking of bars, we didn't miss any on the tour, but in terms of drafts, if you're looking for a place in San Fran or anywhere in the Bay Area to party on Thanksgiving football Thursday, do it at the Rec Room. Go see Todd. He's personal friends with Nando DeFino. 2 Nando name drops in one show. Seriously, Rec Room. Tell Todd Nick and Nando sent you. Rob too, I guess, but you weren't there in San Fran. All right, we'll be back. We got more news to talk about and Thursday preview. We're going to do all that. Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network, right after this, people. Stick around. Welcome back. Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Nick, Rob Langevin. You can follow him at Smokey, EY_Loogie, LOOGY. It's a complicated Twitter handle. So, we mentioned the tour briefly before. You did, I think, about 14 or 15 of the cities with me. It was awesome. Rob's an awesome sidekick, and Sky's an awesome executive assistant. I'll leave it at that. All right. But, T-Hole and I were talking, and I was saying that we blew it up in Buffalo. We party like crazy in Buffalo. And T-Hole was like, what? Buffalo? But it represented, did it not?
Buffalo was the perfect timing for a perfect city to be just go crazy. And we were there the night that U of Buffalo checked in for college. So that should say it all right there.
Yeah, that helped. Plus, I had all my boys down from Toronto from my old school league, the original league, the Ontario Football League. We did our draft that night, so all my homies were out, and man, did we party. Holy cow, that was a good night. All right, back to business. Speaking of partying, I don't think Rex Ryan's going to have one this offseason because I think he's going to be sitting on his couch waiting for someone to call him to be a defensive coordinator, which he's probably better suited for. And Michael Vick will probably be on his couch with nowhere to go because I don't think Michael Vick has any value anymore. Marcus Vick might have more value, which is kind of scary. Yeah. So why is Rex Ryan still saying that Mike Vick's the starter?
Well, I have no idea. It's like the captain going down with the ship, grabbing the prettiest dog on the boat, I guess. I have no idea.
What?
There was a dog reference in Michael Vick in there. It failed.
Missed it.
Yeah. But, yeah, because if anybody who's watching this that's watched Geno Smith knows that he is not an NFL quarterback. He is just not. Either it's the system that he's playing in right here or his just mental capacity to actually ascertain fantasy or actual QB goodness in the NFL is just blown by him.
Yeah, I'm with you. He ain't good. He's not. And it's unfortunate because he brings down the rest of the team. If you had skill position guys on the Jets, let's say, I don't know. Forget it. I don't want to talk about the Jets anymore. Let's just move on. If you got a question, just tweet me. I'll try to answer it, even about the Jets at Nick Capozzi, NICKCAPO is easy. So big news, big kicker news, and when it's about kickers, is go time. So McManus is out in Denver. They signed Connor Barth. What's up?
Well, Barth was out of a job for an entire year, and then he kicked 85% when he was in the NFL in 2012 with the Buccaneers. So, all he has to do is basically come in and be a manager of his kicks, and he's got the job, and he's got a high-powered offense in front of him. So he's probably a pretty decent ad. Even if you have a kicker for the playoffs and you want to play matchups, it's probably a good thing to probably have two kickers.
You all about kickers in domes come playoff time?
Oh, I love kickers in domes. Justin Tucker made a huge name for himself last year in a dome, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Reggie Bush, ready to go for Turkey Day. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
Well, he says he is.
Reggie Bush has said a lot of things over the years.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't do it. Oh, here you can have my Heisman Trophy back. But
his credibility meter is not so high, not spiking.
Yeah, his popularity meter amongst people who actually believe spoken word is 0. But yeah, I mean, he's saying he's ready to go. I'd probably bench him even if I had him on my roster, just for the standpoint that if he gets 8 to 10 touches, he's probably going to get hurt again. Joyce Bell is probably an RB2/3 right now, lower end 2, high end 3.
Don't remind me. I've got him on a bunch of teams where I'm forced to run with him right now.
Yeah, but I'd probably, if you have Bush, I probably wouldn't rely on him for anything on Thursday.
Hey, I wasn't able to catch the Monday night game between the Jets and the Bills. Was there a good crowd in Detroit?
I heard they had like 3/4 capacity. It's funny, they were giving away free tickets and people were scalping.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, because they had like an online lottery and they were giving them away to anybody that signed up and got picked, and then they were arresting scalpers outside for selling the tickets. It's pretty funny.
Interesting, that is. All right, so the word on the street is that RG the third is going to have a short leash versus the Colts. Well, that's not shocking because he's been terrible. I mean, he's been bad, man. I don't even know. Speaking of Forsett, you talked about Justin Forsett earlier. How do we rank him? I don't know how you rank RG3 going into next year. I don't even know if Gruden's going to be there. What do you see happening with Washington?
I don't even know if RG3 is going to be in Washington next year.
I know. Could you imagine that scenario where they're still – hold on. Where they're still – the Rams are still using draft picks from that trade and he's not on the team anymore? That could happen.
How about this bizarre scenario? The Rams actually need a QB for next year because Bradford's a free agent. How would you feel if the Rams actually traded back a pick to get RG3 and then he went on to that offense?
Wow. You just blew my mind. Wow. That could happen.
It totally could happen. I guarantee the Rams would actually be one of the teams that are looking for a quarterback next year. So it could definitely happen.
Isn't Cam Newton a free agent?
Yeah, but I think he's going to get franchised and then they'll sign him long term.
Right. So RG3 having a short leash. I mean, hopefully you're not starting RG3, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
You know who's got a good schedule coming up? If you're stuck, let's just say you got RG3 and maybe Kaepernick on your roster, and I hate even saying his name because it's going to make me throw up in my mouth a little bit, but Eli Manning has Jacksonville, Tennessee, Washington coming up.
He's also got the catch guy out wide for him now, making a superstar name of himself really quickly.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I've asked this. I asked Sky this on Monday. I don't remember if I asked T-Hole because, well, it's T-Hole. Let's re-rank, according to you, these 4 rookie wide receivers. If you were drafting right now today, how would you rank these guys? OBJ, Kelvin Benjamin, Matthews, and Mike Evans.
I have it Evans, Beckham, Benjamin, Matthews.
Interesting. You know what? I think I would. Oh man, it's tough. I like Kelvin Benjamin a lot, but Sky was saying that he doesn't run well. He runs like stiff as a board.
That's fine. He never was a good runner. He wasn't at Florida State. He was a red zone threat. That's why he was there, and that's what he got drafted to be. That's why he's got 8 touchdowns already this year or 7.
Radius. I don't know. I need to see more out of OBJ before I'm willing to move him ahead of Benjamin.
The the thing I like about Mike Evans is he's basically a cross between Beckham and Benjamin because he can run and he can catch and he has the ability to just do everything.
Yeah,
his body type is just sick.
I was worried he may have been a product of the A&M system, but obviously that has not been the case. All right, listen, we got to go to break. We'll be right back with more from Rob Langevin, Sensitive Rob. This is Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Welcome back, Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Rob, I just want to personally thank you for shaving and using product in your hair before coming on the show today. I'm glad that you take this so seriously, brother.
There actually is product in my hair. It's Brill's hair cream.
Brill. A little dab will do ya.
Exactly.
It brings you back to the 50s.
But yeah, I had a fight with my razor, and it's making me sleep on the couch.
There's a lot I can do with that, but I won't. All right, a couple more news items here just before we get to the Turkey Day game. So Isaiah Crowell finally listed as a starter on the depth chart. Yeah, about time, Mike Pettin. I've been saying they want Isaiah to win the job, and this guy is legit. Any argument?
No, he's the best runner there. I still see West having a little bit of fantasy value, so I wouldn't drop West completely. But Crowell is the goods. Carry him to the grocery store, double bag it.
So when Julius Thomas was out on last Sunday, I was in a position in one of my leagues where I was desperate for a tight end and there was no one on the wire. So I picked up Jacob Tammy, who promptly went 1 for -2. So that worked out. But now Julius Thomas is on track to play Sunday. You got Julius Thomas. You spent a third, maybe a second round pick on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been unbelievable for you. But now you're in a situation where he might be a game time decision. What do you do, Rob? You're on the clock.
It's a tough goal because the Chief defense is reeling right now. They're kind of in we're kind of like an emotional win right here because of the Eric Berry news of him having possible lymphoma.
I know, it's terrible, man. All the best to Eric.
So I don't know how that defense is going to react. They're the best pass defense in the NFL, the Chiefs. So him taking him away, and he'd be the main guy who would cover Julius Thomas because he's like the extra linebacker / guy who covers tight ends. So from a matchup perspective, it's definitely in Julius's favor if he plays. But I'd probably want to have a handcuff available on my bench, somebody that's actually going to have maybe play for 100% than actually wait for Julius to play. So, but it's a tough situation because if he plays, he's got a good matchup. Maybe if he plays, if he doesn't play, you better have somebody good in place just in case. So
yeah, seriously, get on that. Now trade deadline is passed, so good luck with that. All right, speaking of trade deadlines, I don't have a good segue here. What I was trying to say was, Detroit is hosting Chicago on Thanksgiving Day, and I'm a little bit bummed out that they don't move this game away. I guess there's some tradition to Detroit and Dallas always hosting, but why do they get them? Doesn't seem fair. Chicago has been reeling. Their wide receivers have been junk, although I'm not blaming their skill level. There's obviously something is wrong there. And Detroit's been reeling too. This could be an ugly game. A, who do you like? And B, if you've got one of the Chicago wide receivers or Calvin Johnson, what level of comfort do you have starting them? I can't believe I just asked that about CJ.
Yeah. I like the Lions in this only because the Bears still employ Jay Cutler as their quarterback. The Detroit Lion front four is going to pressure Cutler. Cutler makes bad mistakes when he's rushed by 4 rushers or less. His numbers are staggering when he gets pressed into the pocket. I think the Lions are just going to pressure him too much. And out of the 3 wide receivers, Jeffrey, Marshall, or Johnson, I will probably take Johnson only because I see him getting a score and the other 2 won't.
So I'm trying to rank these games in my head for which ones I want to watch because, listen, on Thanksgiving, sometimes you got to help out. Maybe you got to do the dishes. Maybe you got to get your grandfather a beer or 17. So to me, that's the third game. But I'm kind of stuck here because I think Philly-Dallas could be good as well as Seattle-San Francisco. In the Philly-Dallas game, A, who do you like? B, hold on, sorry, I apologize. I'm doubling up here. B, will Tony Romo have a traditional Thanksgiving meltdown?
I like the Cowboys. The funny thing about all 3 of these games, Nick, all 3 are division opponents and none have played each other this year yet.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Good call. So that's why you pay you the big bucks, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the books, finding stuff. But the thing about Romo is he's got 17 touchdowns in 15 games career against the Eagles. That's the least out of any opponent in the NFC East. The also thing I like is Des Bryant's got a touchdown in 4 games. He's basically, if he continues what he's doing right now to the end of the year, he's going to overtake Antonio Brown and Jordy Nelson as the top wide receiver in football. What else do I like from this game? Tony Romo, I don't see him having a
traditional
great
meltdown.
Game. Yeah, a great game. I don't see him holding an extra point and fumbling and then trying to run for a touchdown. But I don't see him having a great game. Figure 275, 2 touchdowns, maybe 1 interception. But you're probably going to have one of those touchdowns to Des Bryant. Now, Terrence Williams is a little dinged up. He broke his fingertip, so I don't know how useful he's going to be. And Jason Witten always seems to have a good game on Thanksgiving, so I wouldn't rule him out for any fantasy purposes either.
Yeah. Make sure you're taking your vitamin D, by the way, buddy, because you're looking a little pasty. I guess
it's the light, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Winter has come. All right, Seattle, San Francisco. I think this could be an awesome matchup. A clash of 2 teams that both realistically have a shot to catch Arizona. I hate to say that, but both these teams with the Stanton at the controls, Seattle, San Francisco. A, who do you like? B, is this the game Marshawn Lynch's back finally flares up and he's on the sidelines?
I actually like the Seahawks in this game going into San Francisco.
Santa Clara?
Santa Clara.
Closer to San Jose?
Vicinity. In the vicinity play. Yeah. I don't think what'd you say? Oh, Lynch gets his back flares up. I think this is a prove-it game for him after he basically got fined. Richard Sherman actually had a great skit the other day, just this morning or maybe it was yesterday, about the whole thing where he was basically having an interview with a cardboard cutout of Doug Baldwin. So if anybody wants a good laugh, go Google it. It's pretty funny. I
didn't see that.
Yeah, it's the funny thing about Lynch is if you look at his career numbers and compare them to Frank Gore, they're pretty eerily similar. They both average 86 yards a game in their career. They basically have the same touchdown credentials. They have the same receptions out of the backfield, but not. It's very flukish for one season, then down for the next. But they're very eerily similar as running backs. So I could see them actually canceling each other out, maybe having 80 yards apiece, each having a score.
All right, I'm with you. Robbie, listen, buddy. Actually, you know what? We might see you. We're going to do a show on Thanksgiving. So we might see Rob, even though we just gave away all the Thursday goodness. But we'll talk a little DFS coming up for the week like we always do. All right, Robbie, I'll talk to you, brother. Thanks for joining us. Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Center. We'll see you tomorrow, Turkey Day. We're showing up for work. Be there.